knowledge is required to solve all the questions of quantitative ability section. So before we proceed, I request everyone to please mark your presence. Jai Hind, Jai Hind. Please be quick, everyone, mark your presence. So it is going to be a discussion based session and will be quite interactive. All right. So let's start with the session now. So this is one question I always keep getting from students, that what all should be done so that we can score well in quant section specifically. So point number one that I would like to tell each and every student, that we must know what all topics are to be studied and what all are the subtopics in each and every chapter. All right. So when it comes to all exams, please keep in mind the quant section is very easy. So it does not make any sense if we practice difficult questions. So point number two, I would like to mention, do not practice on difficult questions, because if you cannot solve easy questions, it does not make any sense solving difficult questions which you although cannot solve if anyhow they appear in exam also, although those kind of difficult questions are no longer appearing in any of the exam, right? So point number three, we need to understand, if we do not want to practice on difficult questions, then what should be the source of study material? So this plays very critical role. So first of all, we need to understand what all topics are covered under quantitative ability. So chapter number one, we will say it is number system. Now what all is required in number system is very important. So first of all, I will talk about basics of numbers. Majority of the students think that they are very well aware of each and everything, but in actual they do mistakes on those questions which are based on basics of numbers. So there are so many operations that we used to do in our school days, but we take them quite lightly and we do not know how to use them. If you know the basics but you do not know how to use them, then again it will be a problematic situation. So first of all, we must know what all basics of numbers. Then I will talk about classification of numbers also. So I will give you each and every topic that we need to study so that we can do good in each and every exam we appear in. All right. Then after classification of numbers, we will move on to divisibility rules. And the topic of remainders. So both the chapters goes hand in hand. Please keep that in mind. The divisibility rule that we learn are used to find remainder. So please complete both the topics simultaneously, one after the other. Then we should move on to finding units place of the given number and finding last two digits of the given number. So many questions have appeared based on finding units place of the given number. So it is very important to cover that particular chapter. When it comes to last two digits, only couple of times question appeared based on last two digits, but because it appeared in exam, so it is very important for all of us to study each and every topic thoroughly. Then we should move on to the concept of LCM HCF. So this year there were two questions based on this particular topic in my slot only, right? Then along with it, we must cover the concept of factors also. So it is least common multiple, it is highest common factor. So the topic of factors should also be covered along with chapter of LCM HCF. Right? Then the concept of factorials. So they are the major topics based on number system, which each and every student must do. I will talk about the source later on, and I will tell you how to prepare on each and every topic. Then point number 2, chapter number 2 rather, is another very important chapter, which is arithmetic. So the very basic building block of arithmetic is percentage. Right? Then next chapter along with percentage is profit, loss and discount. Then we can move on to ratio, proportion and variation. Then the chapter of mixture and alligation. Right, which also requires the concept of average. So I'm writing average here. Average, mixture and alligation. Then next chapter is time and work. Then next chapter is time, speed and distance. Now, in order to be good at each and every topic of arithmetic, one must know how to frame equations. Because when we are doing the chapter of arithmetic, we are dealing with framing of equations, and everyone should be very comfortable with framing of equations. So in questions based on arithmetic, we just need to move along the storyline. In number system, you will not find very lengthy questions given to you, but in arithmetic, the questions can be quite lengthy. They can be in the form of quite a lengthy passage, right? So when it comes to arithmetic, we need to learn how to frame equations. The knowledge of numbers will not help you much in arithmetic. These two are totally two different subjects, right? When it comes to numbers, the knowledge of numbers will help me further in algebra, right? And the knowledge of algebra will help me further in arithmetic. So in algebra, the very first thing that we need to learn is how to solve simple equations, or we can say linear equations, which we are going to frame in all the chapters of arithmetic. So this looks like as the name, when we talk about simple equations, we think it's very easy to frame, but at times the storyline is so lengthy that it becomes a bit difficult task to build the relation between the variables which are given to me, right? Then we need to move on to quadratic equation. Then we need to solve certain questions based on higher degree polynomial also. Now the knowledge that we will gain by solving these will help me solving questions based on inequalities, right? And further we need to solve questions based on functions and graphs. Every year question based on functions appears in exam, alright? So the knowledge of functions and graph is very, very important. Algebra constitute of quite a big set of questions of an exam, and the knowledge of one topic will be helping me a bit in other topic. Like when it comes to solving quadratic equations. We should be very quick with splitting the middle term, so that knowledge will come from when you solve questions based on factors. That how a number can be expressed as a product of two numbers, right? So then moving on, rather I shall write it here only. So I am writing it for algebra and continuation. We should also know the questions based on modulus, right? So once we are done with all these, in algebra itself, you will find that there are questions which are based on modulus, the concept of graph, the concept of inequality, right? Then there is going to be merger also of the topics here. When it comes to geometry, the most important part in geometry is, first of all, lines and angles. We must know all the rules for lines and the angles. Then all the basic properties of triangles. So please keep in mind, triangles is the most important topic of geometry. It is the most important topic. If you can solve all questions based on triangles, you can solve almost all questions based on geometry. You will find geometry to be a very, very comfortable area for you if and only if you can solve all questions based on triangles. So while doing geometry, please keep a lot of focus on questions based on triangles. Do as much variety of questions as possible based on triangles. The very same concept will be extended to quadrilaterals or polygons, right? The very same concept of triangles will be extended here. Or when you come across questions based on circles, again the concept of triangles you will find is coming into picture along with the extended properties of circles, right? Then there will be certain questions which are based on circles and polygons, circles and quadrilaterals. So this is the order in which we must solve each and every topic. Then we can also move on to mensuration, which is 3D geometry, right? In mensuration, the type of questions that are being asked are based on the volume or area, surface area, total surface area, lateral surface area of the 3D images given to me, which include cube, cuboid, it can be a cylinder, it can be a cone, it can be a sphere, it can be a pyramid or prism in general, right? Then this year, a lot of questions were based on coordinate geometry also. But minded, the questions were very, very, very easy. So the basics of coordinate geometry we have to do. So the learning that we did in algebra by solving questions based on simple equation, linear equation or quadratic equation. This entire learning will again help me in case of coordinate geometry, right? So it is like very easy part again that we have to cover. All topics that we need to cover are up to class 10. Please keep that in mind. Then we need to solve questions based on permutation combination and probability. I always tell my students that please do not solve difficult questions based on permutation combination and probability, because you will never see difficult questions coming in CAT. Solve as easy questions as possible. So the questions which are based on fundamental principle of counting, are very much required, right? Questions based on arrangement and selection are required, right? That too very basic questions. Questions based on distribution are required. Questions based on derangement are required. So if you are comfortable with permutation and combinations, minded, the kind of questions that comes in probability can always be solved. So focus a lot more on the basics of permutation and combination. Only if you are clear with permutation combination, only then move on to probability. Right? So you will find that all questions of probability are then much easier if we focus on each and every question. Now, how to solve these kind of questions? Please ensure when you are making cases, you do not skip even a single case. So to solve questions based on P and C, your reasoning ability should be good. Or in other words, while doing practice on questions based on permutation and combination, please keep in mind your reasoning ability will also improve. Then another set of topics that we have to do includes logarithm. This year, almost every slot has couple of questions based on logarithm, right? Then questions based on basics of trigonometry, right? I'm saying basics, not advanced level questions, right? Then one of the most important topic is Venn diagram. Now we also need to understand, out of all the topics that I have mentioned, what all topics will also appear in LR and DI. So when it comes to Venn diagram, questions based on the same can be in Quant as well as in LRDI. Questions based on P and C can be in Quant or can be in LRDI. So in recent years, there were caselets in reasoning also which were based on P and C, right? So when it comes to geometry, you will not see anything coming in LRDI. When it comes to algebra, you will not see anything coming in LRDI. When it comes to numbers or when it comes to arithmetic, so questions can be designed on number system which are reasoning based. And in a set, we might come across multiple questions to answer. So number system can be there under your LRDI section because the questions can be reasoning based. The questions of arithmetic, which includes percentage, profit loss discount, ratio proportion variation, average, mixture allegation, right, time and work, they are the chapters, or time speed distance, they are the chapters on which questions can be made which are purely data interpretation based, or they can be data interpretation plus reasoning based. All your learnings of Quant will not help you in only and only Quant, but they are also going to help you in case of your reasoning or DI section. So one must do each and every topic thoroughly, because it's not only Quant that you are preparing. So at times students come and ask, what are the important topics that one must do? Guys, please keep in mind, you have to do each and every bit. You cannot skip anything, because you never know if a question came from one subtopic this year, whether next year the very same subtopic will be chosen or not. Topics are going to be these only. Now, how to excel in each of these topics? In order to be sure of that I am pretty good with number system, I will advise each and every student to solve at least 100 questions, right? At least 100 questions based on each and every topic. 100 of divisibility rule, 100 of remainders, 100 questions of unit and last two digits, 100 questions of LCM, HCF and factors. Around like maximum bante bhi nahi hai 100 question factorial pe, right? But still I am writing 100 as a standard. So if I see what are the total number of questions required to excel in number system, I will say at most 700. If you solve 700 questions based on number system, minded, you will not see any new question on this chapter. Again and again, you will be coming across the very same set of questions in bit twisted manner. And that is the best part of quantitative ability, right? You will not get anything new. Likewise, when it comes to arithmetic, if you solve 100 questions on each and every topic, so on ratio, proportion, variation, 100 questions, on average, mixture, alligation, because here you will see a lot of variety, right? So I am writing around 150 questions. On time and work, again another 100 questions. On time, speed, distance, you can see a lot of variation in statements. So because there are so many subtopics of TSD again, so if we do this count, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, somewhere around 750 questions of arithmetic will ensure that you can solve all questions. Right? Now, when it comes to algebra now, simple equations, linear equations, quadratic equations are the most important parts. Although they are very easy, but you should put majority of your focus on these three. Right? So I would suggest you to solve at least 100 questions of all the types, whether I say simple or linear equation or quadratic equations. So you will not find more than these are required. When it comes to high degree polynomials, somewhere around 50 questions are sufficient. When it comes to inequality, it is just a concept and it is the extension of your simple quadratic or high degree polynomial. So if you solve somewhere around 100 odd questions of this, so each and everything will be covered again, which means you are solving 100 plus questions here, 100 plus here, and 50 plus questions here. Questions based on functions and graphs, solve somewhere around 100 questions on this. So you will not find dedicated set of questions based on functions and graphs in just one book. That is another challenge. I will be coming to the same later on. And likewise, do somewhere around 50 odd questions on modulus. So 1, 2, 3, 4, around 500 questions of algebra will ensure that you can really get like everything covered. Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. We will discuss these things. Just give me a minute. Let me complete this session. All right. Good evening, Kajal. Now, likewise, if we do the very same maths in lines and angles, you just need to solve hardly 50 questions. On triangles, solve as much as you can. So I will suggest you to solve somewhere around 200 plus questions on triangles only. Right? So quadrilaterals include quadrilaterals, then your square, questions based on rectangle, questions based on rhombus, questions based on parallelogram, questions based on trapezium. So you need to solve another 200 questions. Now, when you solve these 200 questions, you are extending your concept of triangles only. Somewhere around 50 questions of polygons will do. Another 100 questions of circles will do. Somewhere around 100 questions of mensuration are sufficient, and 100 questions of coordinate geometry. So this add up to 2 and 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Somewhere around 800 questions of geometry must be done. When it comes to entire permutation, combination, and probability, all right. So I will say somewhere around 300 to 400 questions on entire chapter are more than sufficient. Logarithm, although is very easy, but majority of the students need practice. So let's say 100 questions here, somewhere around 100 questions here. Venn diagram is very important. So I am mentioning because these kind of questions came in caselet. So try to solve around 300 questions, which amounts to another 500. So now let's have a look. How many questions do we need to solve? So 5 plus 4, 9, 9 plus 8, 17. 17 plus 7, 24, 24 plus 5, 29, plus 750 adds up to 2650. So a total of 2650 questions are to be solved. So let's take a range which is up to 3000 questions we need to solve. Now we need to understand what should be the source of these 2650 to 3000 questions. Now this is the most important part, right? Source, first of all, I will say is previous year papers. Now let's do the math simultaneously. Point number one, if we talk about CAT papers which are available somewhere around 30 in number. Let's say average question available per paper to you, because in earlier times there used to be 180 questions in a paper, then 100 questions in a paper. There were times when 60-75 questions were there, right? So minimum 20-25 questions were always there. So let's take a benchmark of somewhere around 30 questions per paper, which gives me a total question bank of 900 questions. Likewise, when we talk about Z paper, Z papers are again available, but let's consider the latest one, because in earlier times Z used to have higher maths also, which we are not supposed to do, right? So on an average, let's take 30 questions per paper out of this, which gives me around 300 questions here. Likewise, when it comes to IIFT, last 10-year papers are always available. Even we can solve for more papers, because the pattern more or less remained the same, right? But again, IIFT used to have difficult questions as well, which do not appear this year. So let's take 60 questions per paper on an average, which we will get here, gives me 300 questions. Likewise, we can solve papers of SNAP, papers of NMAT, all right? So let's say we solve a total of 10 papers of these with average of 30 questions per paper, which will give me another 300 questions. So this total value adds up to 1800 questions. So that is taken care of out of 2650. So what we are required is another somewhere around 800 to 1200 more questions. Now they are the most critical. They are the most critical questions because they are not from the actual source. I always say that this is the reality, right? And what you practice other than these will either lead you to success or will be the only reason of your failure, right? So this is the only reason of the failure of majority of the students if you do not choose these 800 to 1200 questions wisely. Now I am going to state it clearly. Please do not refer books. Available in the market. The only reason for the same is they were never ever changed. A book, if it is written 10-15 years back, the very same book is being sold in the market, right? Without bringing in any change required for the coming exams. So they are a sort of static books, nothing has changed. But the examination was not the same, is not the same, and will not be the same. Alright, so please do not refer to any books available in the market. When it comes to study material of the institutes, which were established 10, 15, 20 years back, they never updated their study material. So again, I will suggest do not use. On the other side, when you refer to these material, The biggest challenge in front of you will be when your plan is to solve 2650 to 3000 questions, right? So let's say if I have to solve 3000 questions, and average time taken per question by me is 5 minutes, right? Which is 3000 into 5 divided by 60. Let's convert it to hours for better calculation. Comes out to be somewhere around 250 hours is the time I will be spending on these many questions. Now obviously I doubt if you will study 10 hours per day, but still if you will study 10 hours per day, you will take 25 days to complete the required study material to excel in CAT. But usually students do not study this much, and that too continuously for 25 days. All right. Now, if I talk about a practical time for which you will find a comfortable pace of studying also, let's say if you study 2 hours per day, and to complete 250 hours of study, you are required 125 days to complete only and only quant. These calculations are very, very, very important for each one of us, because then we will be spending another, let's say, 2 hours per day on LRDI. And if my study time is again required to be the same, I need 125 days for that also. Right? If I am going to study verbal ability RC at the very same rate, again I am required 125 days. Right? So we cannot plan out something which we cannot do. We must plan out something which in actual is practically possible. Majority of the students who prepare through these sources, they fail at the actual requirement of the exam, and that is one big reason that they are not able to do well in exams. This is the Bible, we can say. You cannot skip these 1800 questions at any cost, whatsoever the reason may be. So now if you solve these study materials, what will happen? The study material given by them to you, there is no limit on it. You cannot put a line, draw a line wherein you will be solving only 3000 questions and 3000 quality questions. You just cannot complete the entire study material available in the market. You go online and search for study material, you will find study material of almost each and every institute coming to you free of cost from one or the other source. Right? So that is the biggest challenge for students, to identify good quality questions, right, which will help them to solve all these 1800 questions and build confidence also. If I ask you to solve around 10,000 questions, you just cannot solve in a year's time, because we have just done the maths. For 2 hours per day, you will take 125 days, and I am considering very bare minimum time of 5 minutes per question that you should spend. So please keep in mind, you will solve only and only that study material which will be given to you in the classes, in the form of quizzes, in the form of sectional test, in the form of mock test. Right? So this is the only and only study material required by you. And believe me, this will be much more than sufficient to get 99 plus percentile in any exam. So I always tell my students, ज़्यादा पढ़ने से number नहीं आते. We must study only that much so that we can understand each and every topic thoroughly. Just imagine that if we are studying like around 10,000 questions, going to study 10,000 questions, then it will be a difficult job for my brain also to retrieve the data whenever it is required in the exam. Not all students are same, right? So when it comes to source, as I stated earlier also, point number one, it will be previous year paper. Now we have done a lot of calculation. This is the Bible, so it is always number one. Point number two, study material provided to you in the classes, in the form of PDFs, in the form of PPTs, right? Questions given to you in quizzes, which all are practice questions. Questions given to you in sectional test. Questions given to you in the form of mock test. They all are your sources of learning. Along with that, in order to do good in previous 2.1 and 2, we must solve NCERT books of maths. Irrespective of your level, how comfortable you feel with the subject, do solve all the books from class 6 to 10. Right? And all these books are available online free of cost. And just be specific, solve only and only those sections which I have mentioned. Do not solve each and everything given in the book, right? So this is a very important part of your preparation. So this is the only thing required to do good in your exam and to get 99 plus percentile in CAT, right? So now I am moving on to your queries. DJ, as you do not know what 1 plus 1 is, right, you will definitely end up somewhere good, you being DJ, so please keep continuing with the same. Okay, Nikhil, no, that suggestion is wrong, right? Because you need to come up to me and tell me if there is anyone who ended up in one of the best institution and says Arun Sharma is good, right? So just because like people who do not know whether it is good or not, right, doesn't make any sense. It is not as per the requirement of the exam. You just open the paper and open that book, you will find there is no correlation between the two, right? So please do not follow any book which is not relevant to my exam, right, Nikhil? Okay, so yes, I am coming to you now. Just give me a sec. Pushpak, just search in your Google bar NCERT books and you will get the link, right? Or are you there in Telegram group? I will share the books in Telegram. Pushpak, are you there in Telegram group? Right after the class, I will share, right? Okay, so yes, you are saying has given CAT 20. Yes, हमने की तो थी बात इस पे ना यार. We discussed this. Your 10th, 12th is excellent, right? Just focus on bachelor degree. And when it comes to CAT 20, it's fine, right? So when it comes to CAT 21, just stick to the plan. Your UG is already very excellent. Right, you are planning for MBA. It's perfectly fine. Yes, I hope you have my number. Are you there on Telegram? Yes. if not, please join the group. Right? Please join the group. I have read entire question. Yes, I have read everything. I have read everything. Okay. So you need not worry. It is really good. See, students who do MBBS, after doing MBBS, they are going for CAT exam. बिकॉज दे नो उनको एमडी में सीट नहीं मिलेगा, एमएस में सीट नहीं मिलेगा अच्छे वाला, राइट. एंड इफ दे गेट द फीस इज वेरी हाई, राइट. एंड देन आफ्टर डूइंग योर एमडी एमएस अगेन, जब तक बाल सफेद नहीं होंगे लगे रहोगे. सेटिंग अप योर ओन हॉस्पिटल इज अगेन नॉट इजी. You need to have a lot of funds. So those are like challenges which everyone faces. So MBA for that matter will be a very economical, I will say, as well as wise decision for you. And coming from diverse background, all right. So being from diverse background, you have quite high chances of selection into IIM Ahmedabad. Please keep that in mind. All top-notch institutions focus on students coming from different streams. Yes. What are your marks in BSc? Nikhil, I mentioned all the chapters. Let me show you again. They are all chapters that we need to do. So that's why I mentioned each and every subtopic also. आ रहा हूँ यार. I am bit slow, Nikhil. Right. So I am bit slow as compared to you. So मैं धीरे धीरे करके वहां पे ले आऊंगा तुम्हें. Take a screenshot of this. Take a screenshot of this. Once you are done with this, let me know. I will take you to next slide. Target is to do 100 questions of each and every topic. That's it. ज्यादा पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं है. 100 क्वेश्चंस करो, बट उसको रिवाइज करो 10 टाइम्स. दैट्स इट. राइट. यस, टेलीग्राम पे आई विल गिव यू. सेंड मी अ मैसेज ऑन टेलीग्राम. टेलीग्राम पे वी कैन ऑलवेज हैव अ कन्वर्सेशन. All right. Nikhil, here is the next slide. I have mentioned the number of questions with each and every topic. इतने questions तो करने ही करने हैं, ठीक है. So that is very important. इसका भी स्क्रीनशॉट ले लो निखिल. Okay, so any more questions, guys? Tell me if you have any more questions. Do let me know. Yes, टेलीग्राम पे बात करते हैं उसको लेके. अभी यहां पर रहने दो. टेलीग्राम पे बात करते हैं, आराम से डिस्कस करेंगे पूरा का पूरा केस. So 1-to-1 talk will be much better. Right. So now I would like to take you to Gradeup community, which is always there to help you. Please feel free, join the Telegram channel, and everyone is there. All faculty members, all team members are there to help you out. Right. And we are posting all major announcements for all MBA exams. So quizzes are like posted on a daily basis in the group. So many mocks for more and more practice are available on Gradeup app. So those who are not maybe like those who have not downloaded the Gradeup app, please download the Gradeup app from Play Store. Right. So on the app itself, you can engage with other MBA parents and always stay motivated. So the very same thing is there in Telegram group also. So we keep on discussing things, right? And Gradeup has now introduced installment payment scheme for all students who want better relaxation in the payments can pay for 12-month plan entire fee in 3 installments. For 18 months plan, you can pay in 4 installments now. And please keep in mind, students who want to go for one-time payment, that is still there, right? So you can pay your entire fee in one go also if you wish to, right? So here is the team who will be mentoring you, helping you day in, day out. Pranav, Jatan, Vikas, Vijay, Ashish, Savitri, Sonojam, Anant, Ajay, Tapesh, Vikrant, Saral and Anurag. So we are like 600 percentilers and all other are almost 99.9 plus percentile. So right, Yash, you just post, I will respond. Right, so guys, please keep practicing topic wise quizzes. Please keep attending all live classes. Nikhil, are you there on Telegram? Nikhil, are you there on Telegram channel? Sobhan, please share the link of Telegram channel. Okay then guys, thank you, thanks a lot. Right, yes, I will respond. Right, thank you guys, thank you, thanks a lot for your time.